Well, it's 11:15 in the morning, I think. Or is it 9:45? Yeah, it's 10 to 11. Maestro's boat is just leaving with Rosie and his daughter on board, going back to Henara Herrera to get the gas that we haven't had for 2 days. Which is why we had to cook with wood for the last 2 days, because they ran out. Bit of bad planning. So it was a bit smoky around here for a day or two, and then cooking the bark for my baths and stuff with wood fire. It's just extra work for Maestro for the sake of a $20 bottle of gas, because he'd always use it anyway if there's any left over in his house. So they should have brought two right from the start, really, for 3 weeks. Anything up to 5 people here, and then visitors. But anyway, this was about IR 98 last night. Maestro's had these experiences. My first time where the ayahuasca was slow and smooth, but it was. I got the impression there was still a lot of cleaning, the final cleaning. Which I was praying. I put my intention in the cup, just saying, "Please, Mama, help Katawa, rid me finally of every last bit of this fucking hechizo in the blood and the itchy skin and everything else." I haven't checked for pussy spots today, but feel really good today. Just really relaxed, because I was in a very negative space yesterday. I was thinking that maybe the ayahuasca was blocked again. I thought, where have I picked up bad energy? But I think it was just the final bad energies coming out. I was in a very negative space about the whole process again and not being able to do it. And I still kind of felt like that, although not negative about it, just the realistic about it, about not being able to continue this. Although it'll be better next time, because Maestro's going to have at least one tambo built, which should make a difference, with these, because you just get the odd days like, when you're in a negative space, everything's magnified. These fucking little mosquitoes that are always flying in your ears. And when you've had enough of it, you're just not in the mood, and it really fucks you off. And then a load of people arrived, and they're all chatting in their rough Spanish, and my Spanish isn't good enough to understand it. And Maestro's the only one I can converse with, he speaks clearly, and he's got much more experience of 25 years of talking to foreigners in different accents and stuff. So, but I mean, Rosie, I can't understand Rosie at all, and his daughter virtually never said a word for the last 4 days. She didn't even speak to her father much. So didn't got the impression she didn't want to be here at all. It must have been so boring for her. She's only about 14. She's back to school next month, though. They have a long holiday through Christmas, 3 months. It's their equivalent of summer holidays, I suppose. So she was here, and that made it a bit difficult. Sometimes if I wanted to get changed, I got to turn, I just taking clothes off, sitting in the chair with a towel around you and that sort of shit. And when you're not in the mood, it's just like, I wish I had some space and some privacy. But generally, it's fine. It's all about the energies as well on the dieta. Some days, you get hit hard. But anyway, I said to Maestro I said, have you ever had experiences like mine last night? He said, oh yeah. He said, sometimes the opposite. Sometimes you can feel the ayahuasca, but there's just no visions. Or sometimes you don't feel mareado at all, but the visions are really strong. And he also explained that when the ayahuasca gets a bit old, and when he opened the bottle a couple of times and it's been fermenting a little bit and it goes psh, he said that's a release of a lot of energy. So the ayahuasca is not as strong, or sometimes because of that too. But we're going to brew it up. He's going to go and check for chacruna to pick up, maybe Darlin to pick up on Saturday, or at least put an order in, because it's Wednesday today, and get 2 kilos of chacruna, and then it'll be about the same of ayahuasca, 2 kilos of ayahuasca, and then we'll make that on Sunday and drink that on Sunday night, which is the final ceremony before we leave on Monday. So I was closed on Katawa at the end of the ceremony last night and opened on, I'd have to listen to the recording to see what the name, but then he added some other trees on too for protection as part of the cleaning Icaro. So I think Yana Caspi is one. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll find out when we go and get the bark. Probably later today, because I've got to drink that old brew overnight. Well, 12 hours, and then drink that in the morning. So it'll be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, closed on Sunday. It'll be 4 days of 3 trees and then finished. But really, I had the impression that Katawa was just controlling everything last night, just for a final, because I put my intention was to please Mama Ayahuasca make a connection with Katawa to rid me, because I was still a bit itchy yesterday. Had a couple of tiny pimples coming up, but I really got the impression that I had the final clean last night and Katawa was in control, but I didn't have any visions. But the really nice thing that happened was after my dream about our old dog Carla, which I love that dog, died of cancer in the early 80s. Stress from the family, no doubt. The fucking lunacy of Bob and conflicted loyalties and everything between Mum and Bob when they were arguing all the time, and he was getting drunk and fucking fighting and all that shit. And the poor dog would have been probably a bit would have been very traumatized, and she died very quickly of ovarian cancer. She never had puppies. And then this dream a few nights ago was of the dog, and she was talking to me in English. And then last night she was there, but not in a vision, but more like in my mind. And I was chatting to her for a couple of hours and remembering it's weird. And Maestro said, well, this is what happens, as you go further and further, you can talk to the spirits of animals. So she's now my permanent guardian, which is lovely. So yeah, some good chats with the old dog. So that was really nice for me. So a very smooth ceremony overall. I just had that feeling that there was bad energy coming out, that Katawa was bringing out, and I wanted to vomit it out, but I just didn't feel sick at all, and I didn't force myself. And then the final cleaning, and when Papa Julio arrived, there seemed to be because he's always cleaning. Maestro was asking him to blow, and then at one point, just my stomach felt fine. It's as if it had just been removed. I didn't have to vomit it out at all. But I did feel cold at one point. Got a little bit of the shivers, and I thought, still cleaning going on with my blood. This is all about that temperature regulation thing that one of the spirits, I think it was Mapacho a while back, told me that was also what was messed up with the chemotherapy. But the main thing was, I took the opportunity when Papa Julio arrived. Maestro asked me, he said, have you got any questions? I said, yeah, because it's been since this vision weeks ago, very strong vision, and I want to talk to my brother about it, because there was rumors in my family that when I was young, from quite young, that there was a curse on the family. So I asked Papa Julio, I said, can Papa Julio find out if there is been a curse on my family? Because it's not just my family. It affected his brothers as well, like Uncle Dennis, because of the accidents with his daughter. My favourite cousin, when we were young, she was a lovely girl, very sensitive. She had an accident on a horse and fell on her head and got brain damaged, and then a while after that, she committed suicide and jumped off a bridge. And Maestro knows that I've been affected with suicidal ideation for a long time through my depressions and stuff, and it was true. Papa Julio disappeared. There was no conversation between the two of them for about 5 minutes. I thought, he's searching the spirit world, and confirmed that with Maestro this morning. He said, yeah. I asked him, I said, you had a good chat with Papa Julio last night, Maestro? I said, did you find any information about my question? He said, yeah. He said, your family was cursed. And I said, so as far as I'm concerned, the curse is removed because of all obviously the cleaning and the ayahuasca I've been doing for 3.5 years, and And after that vision the other night, and then all the other cleaning that's had to go on with all the curse in my blood from the friggin' chemo and the witch, and so I'm free of it, but the rest of my family still isn't. They'd have to come to do ayahuasca to get rid of it. And this is why so many bad things have just happened. Our lives have just been so shit compared to what they could have been or should have been, which I know you can say about anything, but all very smart, pretty intelligent people in all the family, all completely destroyed, messed up. The two sisters, my mother, when my father died, it just destroyed the family. And then Mum meeting Bob, which really fucked me up big time. And then all the bad things that have happened, all the accidents that have happened to me, the cancer, the stress, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, the accidents that fucked my back and my neck, the depressions, the alcoholism, all attacks from the dark side because of this family curse. And of course, I've managed to be the one who's, for whatever various reasons, managed to be brought here and saved of it for now. Well, and of course, I have protection now with all the trees, because Maestro's just such a wonderful shaman, so powerful. And of course, having Papa Julio and his uncle in the spirit world, just get access to so much more information. And he had a conversation last night. This spirit arrived, and he was doing the voice, a really high female voice. And I said to him this morning, I said, who was the female spirit you were talking to, Maestro, in the really high voice? And he laughed, and he said, oh, that's a really ancient spirit. She's really old looking. And she's the spirit of the Yaka Purana tree that I dieted. And they were having a chat for about 5 minutes. It was really strange, because it was a really high voice coming out of him when he's sort of possessed by the spirit. Of course, Papa Julio in his normal deep voice, and then a lot of whispering, talking also about Rosa. Rosa had a really good clean last night. She had a nice ceremony, but she had a good clean because she'd had a bath. She felt like she was a bit contaminated with bad energy yesterday, same day I did my bath. Maestro went and got some ahosacha, jungle garlic, and they just ripped up some of the leaves and put it in cold water for an hour, and then she had a bath with it before ceremony. She had a really big vomit last night and a good cleaning, so she felt good today. She felt really good after, so she got rid of whatever the bad energy she's picked up. So Maestro was him and Rosa came up really quick. They came up at the same time, and Maestro had a big cup, and then after probably 20 minutes, he said to Rosa, he said, "Ooh, yeah, Mariado, I can feel it." And she said, "Yeah, I can feel it," but I couldn't. Nothing happened for at least an hour and a half for me. He asked me, he said, "Are you in visions?" I said, "No, nothing. I'm not seeing any visions." Well, I did start to feel the ayahuasca, but just no visions, like having a blank screen in front of you when your eyes shut. Just no one's got anything to show me. I think it was just purely, the work being done. There's a little pimple, a little yellow, if you don't see it. But these are typical of these little pimples that come up. So eventually I did feel the ayahuasca, and then just the dog kind of appeared in my mind, but not in a vision. And then we were chatting, and so she was with me, and then she lay on my bed next to me. And she said, "No." When I told Maestro, he said, "Oh," he said, "No, that's great." He said, "Dogs are very strong as well in the spirit world to have as a guardian to fight witches and demons and Carla was explaining some of her aspects of it, you know, asking her how she'd been for the last 45 years in the spirit world. And she was saying, I said, haven't you got any other friends, other dogs? She said, most of them are dicks. she said, I'm not really that kind of personality. I don't like mixing with other people, with other types of dogs, really. He said, but at one point, there was sort of an idea that, he said, but, we're still pack animals, and when necessary, we will all come together to fight demons in the spirit world for people. She said, I can change too. She said, my teeth can grow, my claws can grow, and I can get more like a werewolf, which is really interesting when I'm attacking big demons and stuff. So it was just really nice, a nice experience. And then when the ceremony was over, I said to Maestro, I told him about it. I said, she's right here. She's lying next to me. I couldn't see her, obviously, but still, a bit on the ayahuasca. I told him about it. So and she said, I'll always be with you now. And so it's wonderful. A bit like having Bobin Sana around whenever you want. Although I haven't had much access to Bobin Sana because she stayed out the way because of the trees, just allowing the trees Dieta to do their work without interference from other spirits. So that'll be the case. But Carla said no. Said I'll always be there now that we found each other again after so long. She said, I'm so glad that you came on this path and I found you. So I'll always be with you, Steve, now as your guardian. Because I've never felt that I've had a spirit animal. I've never met one that's sort of been my, this guardian spirit. But so now I've got my big Alsatian back. I love that dog. I really did. So talking about her sickness, because it came on really quick, So I hope they treated you okay. She said Bob never treated her badly. She said he relied on her for his own insecurities when he always wanted to train her. That's why she was always a bit unruly, because she was always getting conflicting orders to bark all the time at anybody. So she was, and then with the stress in the family and torn loyalties between Mum and Bob, especially when he, we were free of him for 2 years when Mum was going through the divorce, and then she fucking took him back. When Mum got given the bungalow, of course he came back for that, didn't he? Fucking hell day that was after school. And his fucking head popped round the door after not seeing the fucker for 2 years, and having some peace, living with Peggy in her bungalow, just going to school and having a fucking relatively stress-free life for a while. Of course, Carla came with us, so, and then to have him back again with his fucking idiot builder, idiot dickhead fucking pisshead cronies. And Mum let him back in, fuck's sake. But anyway, it's all history. But it's a strange world, that's for sure. So I'm going to prepare a message on WhatsApp now, because it's a nightmare to send from here, and say to Terry we'll have to have a chat next week after Tuesday. So I'll get back Monday evening, be tired after the journey. I'll be able to have whatever, if Maisha said, if this, when everything's gone well with your blood. I said to him, what about the diet in future? Because I was thinking, I don't want to disrespect the plants for the first few days, to Katawa for all the work he's done, and just go down and scoff, fucking spicy food because I really like it, He said, no, you'll be able to eat anything you want when you leave. But I just really want a nice piece of roast chicken or chicken leg or something with veg and whatnot. Because the food, when you're on the diet, is so bland, being no salt. So it was nice today for a change, coming off being closed last night from the Katawa resin. I could have lemon and salt this morning. Although kind of, because of the cooking situation, there's no beans. I'll just have to make do with. I said, yeah, it's fine. They'll be back at 4 o'clock anyway. And they'll have gas, so they'll be able to cook properly again. So I'll probably have a final evening meal, and then, yeah, because I won't be drinking anything tonight. We're just going to prepare the drink, go and get the bark for the 3 trees probably this afternoon. He said he'd be back about 3 or 4 o'clock. But, you know, it depends what happens. Doesn't matter. I feel okay today, feel quite nice. But I did make the decision kind of this morning that I just don't think it's a lot feasible. But, you know, just have to wait and see how it pans out, you know. Getting involved in Maestro's project here. So I really am missing, I need a change. After 6 weeks in the jungle, with only 4 days in Iquitos between. And I hate Iquitos as well, being stuck in that hotel room. There's nothing for me to do, but I'll do his video on my YouTube page. So mix in, I'll do a video in Clipchamp and put my email address in and see if there's any response, and then say, look, Maestro, just for the money, I'm going to need sort of 20% of everybody I refer to you. And start just thinking about myself, because that's all everybody else does. Maybe I'll feel differently after a break. I mean, I did feel shitty yesterday. I was like, no, I'm fucking done. I'm fucking not doing this. I can't live here. I couldn't live long term. But if clients were coming, I mean, you'd be busy and it'd be interesting, because then, you know, Maestro would have the money to build more tambos, and I think he needs at least 2 to start, just in case he did get 2 clients at once. Because he's still not sure. He's going to message Gino, because after Jairo overhearing a conversation that, you know, maybe Jairo's going to go with Americo, the Shipibo shaman, for the work in March. Maestro said he does want it, I suppose, because it's all money and he's got, you know, his plans for here. Because he explained to me again, I got the figure wrong when I asked him before. He's paid per client $50 per client. So if they had 5, then he'd get $250 a week, which is a bit more like it, because that would average about $1,000 a month, which is a bit more like it. But obviously, if they only have 1 client, it's shit, because then he's got to do a whole week for just $50. You know, when the clients are paying 1,000, he's only getting 50 of it. So it's not a lot of money per client compared to what the retreat takes in. I know the retreat's got overheads and stuff, but, you know, and they're still not breaking even. But even so, you haven't got a retreat without a shaman, especially one as good as Maestro Jairo, because he's the best. Absolutely, he's such a lovely guy. He really is a wonderful guy. So, but I was thinking, depending on, I was just thinking, I don't think XRP is going to have gone up. But of course I can't check from here because the signal's so weak. I can't use the apps at all on the 1 bar. They don't work. So I'm going to have this pipe, write a message to my brother, short as possible, walk up the hill, send that off, and say, I want to have a chat with you next week. So I want to tell Terry about this family curse. It's done so much damage. It was from this fucking paedophile, sexually abusing priest, whatever, however many generations back. I'll ask Maestro again later if he's got any more details, because he wasn't specific. He just said, yeah, there was a curse on your family. But of course I'd like to know what year it was, what generation. In my vision I didn't get this information, but the impression I got in the vision was that it's quite a few generations back of this corrupted Catholic priest. Of course I was thinking about that on ayahuasca last night. You know, this is the dark side for you, how fucking insidious it is. think of a Catholic priest sitting in a confession box, listening to people's confessions and knowing all of their sins and their weakness, and if they're dark and corrupted, be able to work on it. Nasty business, nasty fucking business. Because when I went into this in the vision a few weeks ago, whenever it was, a month ago too, when I saw this guy, and the next thing I was in a confession box, and it felt familiar to me. It's like I've been here before. And although obviously I don't think it was me from a past life, only that short period ago, but just the memory of the person maybe who'd been abused. Because I was trying to think, did I go in a confession box when the family that we lived in America apart? But they were out evangelistical as far as I'm aware. They weren't Catholic. Or maybe they were. Maybe it was a Catholic sort of churches they went to, because it was the communion. I mean, in America, I remember, on Sundays we'd go, and because of the family we were living with in the States in 71, 72, you'd go to church and have the little wafers, body of Christ, and a sip of the wine, blood of Christ, etc. But I haven't got a conscious memory of actually sitting in a confession booth. I'd only been about 7 or 8 years of age, so there'd been no reason for me to go in one. But this impression in the vision was like, I've been here before, or whoever I'm feeling is giving me this information. Strange, but very powerful vision. It stuck with me because obviously the nature of it, like it was an answer. That was the one that had the backdrop, like Wizard of Oz. Very, very vivid Wizard of Oz type background. And this guy in the woods hugging and kissing what turned out to be, when I got closer, turned out to be this teenage boy. And then the priest, or this guy with bald head but red hair around the edges, like most of my father's family, but red hair. And then he walked away, and the next thing I was in this confession booth. This impression that this guy's responsible. However, but I don't know the details. However, the hex was put on the family, or for what reason, or whether maybe he was a member of the family generations back who was corrupt, and maybe because of what he's done, some of the people he's abused put the curse on him. Who knows? I haven't got those details, but it's interesting. But anyway, I'd like to talk to my brother about it and see what he remembers of stuff that was said in the family. Because unfortunately, they're still all afflicted with it. So the only way you're going to clean it is to come to ayahuasca. You can't do it remotely. You can clean some things remotely, but not properly. You have to come and do ayahuasca here or somewhere to get rid of all this, the deeper, stronger stuff. But it's nice to know that I'm free of it, finally. I should fucking hope so, after 3.5 years of everything I've done. As well as all the other fucking curses and shit I've accumulated along the way, and all part of the experience of the journey. But yeah, because I was in that negative space before, I just didn't want to do the ceremony even. I just thought, I'm fucking done with all this. I can't be arsed with it. I wish, but you can't escape it, you see, especially come as far as I have. If I walk away, but I have protection now. So, but I was thinking, I just need a break. I want a normal life as well. I'd like to have sort of work that I could pop away to. That's it, but the only option is schools or private. I don't know. I'm going to have to see how things pan out. Because at the end of the day, it's not really out in my control. Because I mean, if I put this video up and they got clients, and then that would lead another direction and probably get back into helping Maestro. But then he'd be building the tambos. He's got all the gear. He just needs to get on that first rung of the ladder, get the first tambo built, so that clients, including me, if I came back and do more. But right now, I don't want to do any more right now. I can't face it. 3 weeks is tough, It's not that bad, but it's the energies. When you have the negative moods and you get molested by, or you get the negative moods and then molested by the insects, you can't even fucking step out depending on the day and the weather and the sun and the heat and the rain and how many mosquitoes are around, or these moscas are around. Like that one is just flying in front of my face. Because these nets just don't stop them. Don't stop them little mozzies. They're bastards. But Maestro's talking to Rosa, and those the mosquito nets, they're much finer netting. So there's no reason why they can't buy a roll of that and do the tambos with that as well. Because I didn't have a problem in the other retreat. They had this green stuff, but I didn't have a problem with those little mozzies in my tambo there, with the little moscas. But here, in this room, they're every day. So over the next couple of days, depending on the weather and the right environment, I'll walk around with Maestro. I'll get more video clips of where he's going to have tambo, what his plans are, interviews with him, try and translate them a bit, and then maybe people's subtitles in Spanish will be able to understand his accent and be able to, so people can at least read these subtitles when he's speaking in English. They can read in English. And then put a load of clips together to do a sort of an advertisement video for him, and put it on YouTube, and then get them to contact me so that my channel becomes a vehicle for income for me, and then try and get it monetized again, because fucking YouTube are a pain in the ass for this. The last time I went through the process of getting a code sent out to my brother's address. He sent me a photograph of the code. When I went to put it in, it said it's not valid, or it didn't work. It's like, they can't even send the fucking code out right. But I'll probably still be infringement of guidelines because of, you know, comments on various things. Not palatable. But, you know, it's just another source of income that they're putting ads on it anyway. I'm not getting the benefit of it. Even though all of it's been demonetized. I've cleaned it all out of other people's stuff that I used to have years ago when it was allowed. All the Jordan Peterson stuff that made all the money. Well, all the money. They set the limit at £60 a month anyway. And anything less than that, I didn't get paid. They work that out really well for themselves, don't they? So, like everything on this journey, you just have to, one day at a time, you just have to see what happens. One thing leads to another. Although, I really want to go back to the UK for a while. I just love to have the money to just pop back for a visit. And, you know, when it's primitive here, I was just thinking, I'd love to just be able to have the money again to be able to go back, fly back to Heathrow, get a nice hire car, drive down to Cornwall, see Terry and the family, see Joe. Just for a couple of weeks, you know. But now, especially now that I'm so well, compared to what I've, you know, when I first came here. I said, unfortunately, though, the country's so completely fucked with that lunatic Starmer. Terry was saying how woke the police are now. It's just the whole thing's just, the whole country's just become a complete joke. With that fucking lunatic in charge. His Marxist ideals and globalist ideology. And the prices of everything, just absolutely ridiculous. But it's getting the same here. Rosie was talking to Maestro yesterday. Maestro saying that wherever it was they were talking about, I didn't get it, but talking about a chicken here costing 50 soles. I mean, that's like fucking 7. That's coming on 15, 17 fucking US dollars for a chicken. It's like US. That's getting to be like probably what Tesco's prices are for a chicken now. Big chicken, I should imagine. And I can't even imagine what a leg of lamb would cost. Christ, 4 years ago, it was getting up around the 20 quid mark in Iceland for a frozen leg of lamb. Fuck, it's probably 30 quid now. Because they want to phase meat out. Just total fucking insanity. Cost of fuel. And fuel's not cheap here. That bottle of gas, to refill that, well, assuming it's about, because that bucket's 20 litres, is about the same size gas tank. 20 litres of gas, 75 soles. So if that was 80, that would be 20, well, more than 20 US dollars, because it's only about 3.7 or maybe lower, $3.4 to the sole. 3.4 soles to the dollar. We round it off to 4. Just if it was 80 soles, it would be $20. More than that, because it's about £4 to the sol, 4 soles to the pound. So if it was 80 soles, it'd be 20 quid to refill a gas bottle, which is more expensive. I think it cost me 7 quid, although it probably wasn't for a gas fire. Yeah, it's the same size as those. Oh, maybe smaller. That was 7 quid for a refill. Cost 30 quid for the bottle at McSalvers in Cornwall. But anyway, I'm just waffling because it's time to kill. I've got the whole day to kill today on my own, which I really wanted yesterday. And we had some of his family friends came yesterday. Just wasn't in the mood listening to it. They were all laughing and joking and having a nice time, but I just didn't want to be around anybody. So I thought, go away. But it was a negative energy day for sure. And itchy. I had a few itchy spots and just itchy legs, and I was just thinking, fuck, this is never gonna fucking cure, is it? It's just not gonna stop. It's been 6 weeks working specifically, mainly along with the other dietas for protection. It's been 6 weeks since I started Katawa. Because it was Boven Sana the first week, and then Katawa in the other dieta. So that's a month ago. It's still purging and having little itchy spots up until yesterday. But hopefully, didn't have any problems last night in bed. That bath was brilliant with the resin of this other tree. That one we went about 300 meters into the jungle. Fucking hell, that was a dodgy track. Really overgrown through the streams, the freshwater stream that I didn't mention. Freshwater stream that gets cleaned. It's on one of the videos. No, it's not. I think I mentioned it, but I didn't film it. Maisha said, put your hand in it. It's actually quite cold. And it was for the temperature of the jungle, because it's continuously fresh rainwater. He said it's drinkable. And he said it's very pure because it's continuously cleaned. Another interesting thing that he said to me was that you can actually diet rocks. You can diet pebbles and stuff of different types of rocks that are really hard to harden your heart. If you're a particularly emotional person that just like I used to be years ago, everything would get to you, the state of the world and just how, he said, you can actually make your heart harder so that your heart harder so that you're not affected emotionally. He said, and you can actually do it to the degree where you don't give a fuck about anything or anybody. I said, that's a bit much. He said, but then you can rebalance it by doing Boben Sana to open your heart back up. That's interesting. So you can just literally diet rocks in pure water. Papa Julio came up with that one, apparently. Talking about him and his level of shamanism, he said shamans aren't like him anymore. And like you read in the books, the shamans of old were so much more powerful because there's so much interference. He said ayahuasca was much tougher. She said she was much harder to communicate with. She was much more fussy, but I suppose she's had to relax and move with the times too to get anybody to come to fight against the encroaching darkness that's so prevalent across the whole planet. and in the control structure and with social media and everything. But saying he had the ability, he must have been a natural in so many ways as well, not just a lovely guy who loved curing people. He obviously made a lot of money, by be able to buy this piece of probably in buttons back in his day, 50 years ago or more, even a huge tract of land that this place is. I mean, it's hundreds of meters across square. It's hundreds of square meters. I mean, 300 meters back into where we went yesterday, that's still his land. And then down there and all over the place. And then over to the fence that delineates half of the land, and the other half's Hyro's, his brother. So obviously they got it left to them when Papa Julio died. But he was saying how strong he was. He said he could actually just put his hands over someone's corona over there, top of their head, within a couple of minutes, know what was wrong with them. Super powerful shaman. He said there was no one else like him at the time in this, around. There will be shamans. I mean, Peru's got fucking thousands of shamans. There will be other shamans as strong, no doubt, but he was definitely seemed to be a very special case. Over 200 dietas. Fucking hell. I think each dieta, even if they're a week, but most of them are 2 weeks. And he did everything. He did every tree and plant you can think of, and there's 150 master plants. He did all of those and more, and then probably dieted the stones. He used to experiment himself and lived so much time in the jungle. Just stayed here on his land a lot. Just totally focused. So anyway, everything's going to decide what's going to decide the next step after this 5-day dieta, 4-day dieta, when I finish. I've broken the back of it now. I was just like, oh god, I can't. Yesterday I was just, oh fuck, I just want to get out of here. I'm sick of all this. I'm not interested. I don't want to continue this path. I'm done. But that's just, it's partly the proebas of the plants, just the energies and testing you, and you're getting broken down. No salt, you get weak. So I feel fine today because I've had salt, lemon. I've got salt back in me today. Give me some energy back, and it's just peaceful today. It's not an easy life, and the prospect of just doing another. When Maestro said, "Oh, you'll have to do another year to be," I thought, oh, "Fuck it, I can't be asked. I'm not doing it. I haven't got the money anyway, unless." But everything's going to depend now on getting back to Iquitos, or when Hanaro Herrera Monday morning. The boat will be about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll probably get there about 11. I'll pack up the camp. Get there for about 11. It's going to get another bigger boat to be able to get everything in, the mattress and everything, strip it all down, and get Darlin will come back Saturday, probably with the Chacruna, and then stay to do the ceremony with us on Sunday, and then help us pack and carry stuff with his dad. And so I'll be sat outside Maestro's house for an hour or two, probably have some lunch there, and I'll be able to check if I've got any credit. I'll top up at the shop there if necessary. Just get credit for a day, 3 soles, and just check what's going on with XRP and see what my financial status is, and then make a decision in Iquitos when I'm there about what my options are. That's what I can do. So I'll go and write this message to Terry and get that sent off.